Welcome back to the Yes Functional Longevity Podcast. We give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, and live better. My name is Chris Border, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness, and I'd like to first start by thanking you for taking the time to listen to what we have to say today. I think this has been a topic that we may have talked about before, but it's certainly one that comes up very often in the coaching center, and I'm going to use a real live numbers to help you understand why what I'm going to explain to you is the reason why. But before I do that, just a little bit of housekeeping real quick. If you are interested in a transcript or a timestamp of today's broadcast, you can head on over to yesfitnessct.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page where you'll see podcasts, click on there, and you will be able to take a look at all of our 241 broadcasts. You can also get our broadcasts wherever you normally listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, and so forth. So hopefully everyone had a great holiday weekend. I know I did. My wife and I took the opportunity to shoot out over to Vegas to visit our son Jake and Fetty, his wife. For those who know Jake, he worked at our studio for a little while. He's been out there just about 3 years now, and I just want to report back that he's doing very well. They're very happy, and I don't think we're going to see him back in Connecticut anytime soon. So let's get started with today's topic. It's an interesting one. It's going to enlighten you on reasons why what you used to do to lose weight, to transfer your body, no longer works. And in this example today, I'm going to actually give you some information that a person came through our door with. And it's not the first time, and it won't be the last time, but I think it's good to review it since there's still people out there struggling with this concept. So the first concept that I want you to understand is that of our total energy expenditure, the amount of calories we burn all day, about 70% of that is our resting energy expenditure. So 70% of all the calories we burn all day is our resting energy expenditure, about 70%. And of that 70%, about 20% of that is our muscle. That's why muscle is so important. And at rest, muscle burns approximately 5-7 calories per day. I'm not quite sure, but which isn't very much. But when we exercise, it can increase by 50-fold. So that's one of the keys to why we want to have muscle on our body. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to bring up an example of an in-body scan. Let me take some of this stuff off the screen here so we're not distracted. So the first thing is that this is a woman came in my door. She's 43 years old. Crossed out the name so you can't see that. And we do this with every client that comes to our door. It's an in-body scan so we can really get some concrete numbers to show you progress off of. It's a place to start. So we've looked at the top. She's 43 years old, female. She's about 5'5", and we did this about almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So our first section down, you'll see it says body composition analysis. You see that it says total body water, 67 pounds of water in the body. Dry lean mass is about 25 pounds, 24.9 pounds, and her body fat is about 60.2 pounds of fat makes up her body for a total weight. If you look off to the right, it's 152 pounds. Now, don't be alarmed, 60 pounds of fat. You can't make a judgment on that just yet because we need fat in our bodies. Fat's extremely important, so you need to have some fat. But the first value I take a look at is the water in pounds of water. Half of her body weight should be in water. So of the 152, you divide that in half, 75, 76 ounces, and she's only at 67 ounces. So she should be drinking about 75 ounces of water per day. You should drink about half of your body weight in ounces per day. So that's the first thing that I would explain to her. You're not taking in enough water. Might sound like a lot of water, but water is our fat burning solution. So you need to have water. The next thing we're going to combine total body water and dry lean mass to get what we call lean body mass. So that's circled at 91.9 pounds. So we compared lean body mass and your total body fat of 60 pounds. It's number one right there on the screen. And with that, we do a muscle fat analysis to determine your body composition, how much lean mass you have compared to fat. So we come down to the next session. You can see it says muscle fat analysis. Now I drew two lines down to show you that that's a normal range. So when you see 85, 100, 115, that is percentile. That's not pounds. So her total body weight was 152 pounds. If you were to just go buy a height weight chart at a doctor's office, something like that, she's a little bit out of the normal range. She's above 115% percentile at 152 pounds. The next number down, the SMM, is the skeletal muscle mass. Now, what's interesting about the skeletal muscle mass is she has 49.8 pounds of muscle on her body. That is below the 100th percentile. She's lost muscle mass over the years. And I'll tell you why in 1 second after we analyze this sum. 49.9 pounds of muscle on her body. She's approximately 5.3 pounds of muscle below the normal range. And in the next column down, we have body fat mass. Again, that's 60 pounds. So if we were to connect the bars of 152, 49.8, and 60.2, it would be a C. And what we want to do is we want to flatten that C out so it lines. So in our analysis here, she's a little overweight, but what she is she's low on muscle. And that muscle is what's slowing her metabolism down. And then she's a little bit heavy on fat. 60 pounds of fat is more fat than she needs. So we take a look from there. We're going to go down to our obesity analysis. Obesity analysis is she's just above the normal range for BMI, body mass index. That's a relationship of your height and your weight. I think most people are familiar with that now. She's 25.3, so just on the cusp of the overweight range. But her percent body fat, again, if we were to take those two lines down, the range for a female her age would be from 18 to 28. And this is the number that's real important to us. She's at 39.5 pounds of fat on her body. Pardon me. Percent body fat. She said 39.5% of her body is fat. That's way up. That's way above the 28, which is a top range for a female her age. So what does that mean? That means she has too much fat on her body and not enough muscle. Our next section down here is segmental lean analysis. This in-body scan will measure each of your limbs and your trunk. I'm not going to get too far into that today. And then across the bottom, we do in-body scans once per month on those clients that like to do it, like to know their numbers. So we get a bar graph of the weight, skeletal muscle, and percent body fat. Because what's important to us really is the skeletal muscle and the percent body fat. If we can increase her muscle and reduce her fat, she's not necessarily going to make big changes in her weight, but she's going to make changes in her body composition. She's going to become leaner. She's going to be thinner. She's going to be tighter. She's going to be toner. So if you look up to the top, I put a number 4. So from our fat body analysis, for her to get right at the 23% body fat, which was in section 3, she'd have to lose 31 pounds of fat. It's probably a lot of fat to lose at 43 years old, but I've seen it done. But one of the key numbers here is that she is 5.3 pounds light in muscle mass. And her basal metabolic rate, or the amount of calories that it takes for her to just sit around all day and do nothing right now is 1,271 calories at 1271. So how did she get like this? How did she get to the point where she's just feeling flabby? She feels like she needs to lose 10 pounds. She just doesn't feel she's fit. Well, she's someone that we call a cardio queen. For the last 20 years or so, she's been doing cardio. That's all she does. She does cardio, cardio, cardio. And in the 20s, that worked. In the 30s, it kind of worked. But now she's finding in the last 5 or 6 years that it doesn't work anymore. So she's increased cardio. She's going longer. She goes an hour, sometimes longer. Sometimes, and she does it almost every day of the week. So imagine getting on a treadmill. And she was a slow jogger. Um, Getting on a treadmill for an hour a day for a decade and not getting results. Now, we talked about diet a little bit, and we know nutrition is one of the key components of changing your body composition. She felt that she eats well. I'm not sure how well she ate. I'm not sure if she's taken in 90 grams of protein per day, because that's a number that we aim for. Our lean body mass is about 91.9 pounds. So we would aim for about 90 pounds of protein per day. I'd say that's a whole lot, but if you take a look at the research, if you want to be successful with fat loss and keep it off, your lean body mass needs to increase, and you need to take in about that number of grams of protein per day. So over this time frame of the last decade or so, 2 decades of just doing cardiovascular exercise, probably not taking in enough protein. I'm just going to assume that she's ruined her muscle mass. She's gone below the normal range for her muscle mass, and her resting metabolism has been affected by that. 12 or 1300 calories of resting metabolism or resting metabolic rate is not a lot. It's not a whole lot. So how can you affect that? How can you affect the amount of calories you burn when you're doing nothing, or the amount of calories you burn when you're exercising? Is by increasing your lean body mass, by doing some strength training, doing some very specific strength training to increase that muscle mass. But this is why what she's doing is no longer working, because her resting metabolism is slowed down because she's lost muscle. By continuing to just do cardio, in the beginning, and she did steady state cardio, by the way. In the beginning, yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a caloric burn post workout because your body's not used to it. It might be 4 or 6 hours. But if you're doing the same cardiovascular workout over and over and over again, and it's steady state, the caloric expenditure is not going to be there. You're not going to burn the amount of calories that you think you are, which are not very many anyway. If you walk a mile, if you run a mile, it's a little 100 calories or so, because it's the amount of work that you're doing. So you can get on that machine and go and run 3 miles. So you might burn 300 calories. And if you eat one portion size wrong in a protein, you're off. You're gonna lose your muscle mass. Pardon me. You're not gonna lose you're not gonna lose fat, because there's not a caloric deficit. It took a while to get out now, didn't it? So by doing the same thing over and over again, like we know in life, just in anything, when we get something grooved, we do it over and over again, it's easier and easier and easier. So that cardio is easier and easier for her. We know that steady state cardio is not the best way to burn fat. It needs to be some type of interval training. And best interval training we know is using a heart rate monitor. If you're really looking to burn fat, if you're really looking to change your body composition, your cardiovascular workout should be done in conjunction with a heart rate monitor. Doesn't have to be long. Doesn't have to be every day. We recommend people getting around 2 days, maybe 3 days of cardiovascular exercise. Her strength training. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take this off the screen because I think we've talked all about it here. Enough. It doesn't want to go away. There we go. I lost my train of thought there. So her cardiovascular training should be a couple times a week. Now, she's still under 50 years old, so I would recommend for her to be doing strength training a minimum of twice a week. Everyone should do strength training twice a week, but at her age, she may be able to pump in 3 times a week. She may be able to get the results that she's looking for by doing some strength training 3 times a week. A strength training program in which she would progressively overload. So that means you're not doing the same exercises, month after month after month at the same intensity. You can do the same exercise. You can do a goblet squat for a year, as long as we're changing the intensity, meaning making it harder, doing fewer reps, changing the order that we're doing the exercises in. That's what's really important about it. So getting some strength training in with enough protein, with 90 grams of protein per day, she's going to increase her muscle mass again. And no, She's not going to get heavier. She's not going to get fatter. She's not going to get big and bulky. We're talking about 5 pounds. 5 pounds at 43 years old will be a challenge for a female to put that muscle on. But by doing that, she's actually going to get tighter and thinner, because we know that muscle is more dense, takes up less space than fat. And if her nutrition's in line, if she's eating maybe 16 or 1700 calories per day, I don't know that number off the top of my head, and she's getting in that protein and she's drinking enough water, she's getting enough movement per day, 10,000 steps per day, she doesn't have any stress in her life, she's getting enough sleep, all those things, I know that we would be able to improve her body composition, take the fat off that she's looking to take off, tighten up or tone her muscles, tone her body to way it looks the way she wants it to look. Unfortunately, in this situation, she wasn't able to join our facility. She liked the things that we were going to do and talk about, but the schedule just didn't work out for her. And I'm hoping that when we did sit down and talk, and when we viewed her in body scan and we discussed strength training and why she's not getting the results that she wants to get, why she's not getting the results she used to get back in her 20s, that it all made sense to her, because we laid out the plan for her right here. We didn't hold anything back. We're about educating people, about helping people. She can't get to our facility, that's fine. Get to some facility and start lifting some weights. Work with a pro, work with a professional that knows what they're doing, that can adapt the program to your level of fitness, to your goals. Make sure you're progressively overloading. You're not doing the same thing over and over and over again, not doing that circuit, not doing those same bench press you've been doing for decades. Because what you did, first of all, you're not in your 20s anymore. You're not in your 30s anymore. Now she's in her 40s, so maybe someone's in her 50s. Your body is different. What we do is different. Like every other industry, the exercise industry has changed. What we did 2-3 years ago, we don't do anymore. Got to stay on top of the industry. So I hope that explains some things to people, why they may not be getting the results they're looking for, why we're so dedicated to strength training, why I wrote my book. And you can grab a copy of my book. It's up in the notes above this broadcast over at Amazon or chrisporter.com. It was a bestseller in strength training. This is why we believe in strength training so much, not only just for the age factor. As we age, we don't want to become frail and not be able to do the things we want to do and enjoy the things we want to do. But just in this case right here, if she was to continue on this path, I'm not saying don't do cardio. I wouldn't do cardio an hour a day. I certainly don't do cardio an hour a day. But I think your cardiovascular workout needs to be interval training. I don't think you need to be doing it for an hour. I think maybe you go aggressively 20 minutes to a half an hour, 2-3 days a week, along with strength training, increasing their protein intake up to 90 grams, getting 75 ounces of water in per day. All these things is going to help her to do what she wanted to do with her body. So if you're having a problem, not getting results that you're looking for, and maybe you're doing the same thing you've been doing for a long time and it used to work, but it's not working anymore, give us a ring, because I'm sure we can help you. And we've been in business 25 years now, helping people just like you get the results that they're looking for. So in celebration of that 25 years, we are running our Take Your Life Back program again, but this time we're running it at a special deal, $25 for 25 days. So maybe you've been thinking about joining Y.E.S Fitness or wondering why we've been in business for so many years, what makes us different. $25, that's all we're talking about here, for 25 days, working with professional coaches that have helped people just like you. A ton of experience in our facility. So again, if you're having a problem, swing by, schedule a strategy session. We'd love to sit down and talk to you. And if it's a good fit, it's a good fit. If it's not, hopefully we give you information that will help you get to your goals, even if you're not on board with us. I hope that was helpful. I know it won't be the last time I talk about it. She won't be the last person that comes to my door with this issue, but we're here to help and help people change their lives. So you can look for more information from me next week on how to get fit, feel younger, and live better. Thanks for watching.